Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today for a really fantastic webinar. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and homebasedtravelagent.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us today. I'm very pleased that our host today is Travel Alberta. Our speaker is Cheryl Kaspersky, Business Development Director, USA. Cheryl's topic today is Alberta, Canada is a year-round destination to explore. Cheryl has been with Travel Alberta close to 4 years as Business Development Director for the USA market. She has been in the industry for a number of years, both as a travel agent and then a supplier. After being involved for most of her career in the Caribbean product, Cheryl now loves to represent this province in Canada that has provided her with many goosebump moments. Hopefully, we can have Cheryl share some of those moments as she brings us through the presentation. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of the presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. Also, Cheryl and Travel Alberta have generously provided a $50 gift card that Cheryl will be giving away at the end of the presentation. We will be giving you more information about that a little bit later, but a little hint, hang around and take notes. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Cheryl so she can get started. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thanks so much, Sandy, and you did a great job pronouncing my name.
I
Very
practiced.
proud of you. It's great to be able to share with all of you today a little bit about Alberta. It's hard to do an entire province in a short time, but we'll do the best that we can, and I hope that your questions at the end will help to bring you all the information that you will need to go forward and be able to sell Alberta with confidence. So to begin, I'm going to ask maybe just a little bit of questions to you all so that we can get a better feel of how many of you have already sold the province. So I'm going to turn that part to Sandy to do a poll, and then I'll come back and bring you through the slides.
Okay, great. Our first question for our agents is, have you ever sold an Alberta vacation? So please select either yes or no. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. And Cheryl, the answers are pouring in, so this is terrific. So again, have you ever sold an Alberta vacation? Okay, let's see what we had to say. So 34% of you said yes, and 66% of you said no. So there we go. And let's go on to our next question. Do you belong to any consortia? Again, I'll give you a few seconds to answer this question. Answers are either easy. It's either yes or no. Okay, we see a lot of answers coming in. Give you another second or two. Okay, and here are the results of that poll. So 74% of the agents signed in belong to a consortium and 26 do not. And our final question for today, are you interested in becoming an Alberta destination specialist? And this time you can choose one of three answers, yes, no, and not sure. And I suspect by the end of Cheryl's presentation, you will be sure. So I'll give you another few seconds. Oh, Cheryl, I think you're going to like these answers.
Terrific.
Okay, so 73% of you said you are interested in becoming an Alberta specialist. Nobody said you're not interested. And 27% of you said you're not sure. So that's a good reason to be back here at this webinar. Okay, Cheryl, there are your answers and take it away.
Perfect. Thanks so much, and thank you all for your answers. Helps me get a better feel for it, and it's good to hear that, you've sold it, and for those who haven't, hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel very confident in doing so. So we'll go on to our first slide, and in Alberta, we always say that we have authentic experiences in breathtaking landscapes. If you've ever been somewhere that you wish that you could just stay there forever, Alberta is one of those places. As you travel through the province, you're going to see the most gorgeous landscapes. You see these beautiful mountains that reflect off the lakes as you're traveling through the province. It really gives you that time to stop and take pause of truly what is important in life and just reflecting. So a lot of times when I'm doing presentations or I'm speaking with consumers, they are not quite certain where in the world Alberta is. So we are located east of Vancouver, north of Montana. We have two major airports there, one in Calgary and one in Edmonton. And there are a host of different carriers that fly in. There's over 25 different carriers that fly into our province, both direct and nonstop. So you can see from the flight times there from east or west coast that it's not that long of a flight to get there. I always like to put this map up because I think it gives you a better idea and a sense of how to get around the province. A lot of people always ask me, how many nights should I have my clients spend in each of the locations? It really depends on what they're going to be looking to do. So the most common route for people who have not been to the province before, they'll usually fly into Calgary, and then they'll go up to Banff for a night or two, and then maybe up to Jasper, and then some will come back down and then spend a night in Lake Louise, and then back out of Calgary. Some people will go the whole C route, we call it, and go Calgary, Banff, Lake Louise, Jasper, over to Edmonton, and then fly out from Edmonton. So you see the different drive times here through the province. So while it may say Jasper to Edmonton is 4 hours and Banff to Jasper is 3 hours, these are just a guideline for you, because as you're traveling through the province, you're going to find that you're going to want to stop and take in all this beauty and the landscapes, and you want to be able to take pictures and enjoy it. The wildlife is going to want you to stop and take their picture because they're probably going to be on the roadside or in the road. So these are just considerations for you to take note of as your clients are traveling through the province. We have a travel trade planner, which is for travel agents, and you can get that on our travel trade website, which I'll give to you later on. But in there, there's some day-by-day itineraries for suggestions for you. So what's great about this is in here you'll see the Calgary Zoo, Day 1, Glenbow Museum, the Stampede, different things that your clients can do while they're in that particular area. This will give you a better idea to say, okay, if you're going to be in Calgary and you are interested in the Heritage Park Historical Village and the Calgary Zoo, you'll need time for this, and it helps you better plan how many nights in each of the places that they're going to travel to. Another way to get around the province is by train. So we have two rail companies that service our province, one being Via Rail and the other being Rocky Mountaineer. So Via Rail travels from east of Canada, comes into Edmonton, over to Jasper, and then out to Vancouver. They operate their service year-round, whereas Rocky Mountaineer only operates during the prime season, I'll say. So it's like May, end of May that they start, and they run through till early October. And with Rocky Mountaineer, they have a few different type passages that you can do. You'll see that you have color-coded, depending. So they'll go usually from Jasper down to Kamloops and then over to Vancouver. And that goes in reverse as well. So, but they also service Banff, Lake Louise, and a little bit into Calgary, depending on which passage that they're on. Both of the rail services have excellent dining car service, and you see these big, beautiful windows, so you're not missing any of the sightseeing as you're going through the province. But they also have these dome cars, and so you get even better views from up there. The other difference with the trains are that Rocky Mountaineer is an overnight train, whereas Via Rail, you would stay on board the train through the night and then get into Vancouver the next morning. So you would have to get a sleeping compartment. Sorry. And so, as I said, Alberta is a year-round destination. So we have winter in Canada. Imagine that. It says it goes from November to February, but in all reality, it kind of extends into March and sometimes April. So you see the different temperatures there. And the sun really shines brightly for most all the winter. So it really is not that bitter, bone-chilling cold that we get here where I live on the east coast of the U.S. But some really fun activities to do in the winter are some cross-country skiing, dog sledding, snowshoeing, sleigh rides. You can do the Northern Lights viewing, which I'll talk a little bit more about as we come along. But our other very popular season is summer. So June through August, but that's really spilling over into September, that we are really getting very busy. So that's a wonderful thing. Some summer activities they can do are rafting and rock climbing, do some cycling or horseback riding. There's glacier tours. So there really is a lot to see and do. I have to say that for as many times as I've been to Alberta, they're very good about taking me around and showing me all the things there are to see and do. And I always say, there can't possibly be anything left for you to show me. And every time I go, there's more and more. So this is just a picture that I took with my iPhone when I was in Alberta with my family last year. So just beautiful colors that they have. And this is Patricia, Patricia Lake in Jasper. As you see these reflections, this was a picture that I took off of Instagram. So it was someone who actually took this and posted it. And another gorgeous shot, just the way the mountains reflect off the lakes is just beautiful. You could see I'm really into fall. I want to show you all these beautiful colors. The sunsets are spectacular. And again, just driving down the road with big mountains in the backdrop. So Edmonton is our capital city. It's also a city that has a park within its borders. That park is 22 times the size of New York Central Park. It's also the only city where you can see the Northern Lights in the backdrop. And this is a shot of the entire city from the Fairmont McDonald in Edmonton. We do have Fairmont properties throughout our province. Another great way to get around in the park and the city in Edmonton is by Segway. So they have a guide that will take you out, and you can ride around on the Segways, and it's a lot of fun and really get to see everything that's happening. And Edmonton is also known as the Festival City. So we have over 30 festivals here each year. We have a Jazz Fest, and we also have oh, wow, how about that? I've only done this for 4 years, and all of a sudden this one went by me. This is a theatrical fringe festival, and so this happens each year, and we get over 500,000 visitors that come to the Fringe Festival each year. So very popular. And I'm sure you've heard of the West Edmonton Mall. It's actually larger than the Mall of America. And this mall has over 800 shops, 9 world-class attractions. And so we've got the full-size ice skating rink here. There is the the slides and the wave pool. You could spend more than just an entire day in here. We even have a full-size scale model of the Santa Maria. So this is the only way I always knew how to get back to the Fantasyland Hotel, which is located in the mall as well. And you just find the ship, turn right, and there's the door to the hotel. A little hint for you. And Jasper National Park is the largest of our national parks. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It really is home to an abundance of wildlife here. And there also is the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge there. So we've got all different kinds of accommodations here, and a little more rustic, really more of an old railroad town kind of a location in Alberta. And they've got these beautiful cabins in there. And just some of the wildlife that you would see, even just walking the property at the Jasper Park Lodge. And these fellas, I always think that they should have cigars in their mouth. You know, they look like they're having the meeting of the minds here. But those are the bighorn sheep. You can go over to Moline Lake and do some fishing here as well. And again, this was just a recent shot that was taken. I like to take these pictures off of the internet, where the people who are actually traveling through the province are posting them, because then you know it's a true picture that's unretouched and really shows the beauty of the province. So Jasper raft and float trips, you can do anything from a lazy kind of a float trip to like a whitewater rapid kind of a rafting trip. So a little something for every different type of client. And in the wintertime, you can do some ice climbing, you can do snowboarding, you can even walk at the bottom of the canyon in Jasper at the Moline Canyon. You see them on the ice there at the lower right-hand side of the picture. You just see some wonderful ice sculptures as you're walking through. This is one of my favorite experiences. This is the Jasper Motorcycle Tour. So you hire these guides, they ride the motorcycles, you just either sit in the back or in the sidecar. And I think this is a great way to get around and truly get up close and personal with everything that there is to see and do in Alberta. They will take you places where the buses really can't get to, or, you know, cars don't really know where to drive to. I think for me, my favorite thing was to see my daughter in the sidecar, and they had pulled right up to the very edge of the road, and we didn't really know what was over there, but all of a sudden, up from the embankment came Mama Bear and her 2 cubs and walked right in front of them. So the look on her face was priceless for me. And I think that that's just one of those special moments and one of those goosebump moments. And this happens to be a friend of mine who was just out camping in Jasper. I mean, what a room with a view. You can also see the northern lights of Aurora Borealis, and that can best be seen from September to April each year. But this past year, I have to say that it really was through May, June, July, that really was very active year for this. And this is the aurora at Elk Island in Edmonton. So you can see it from mostly, Edmonton, Jasper, but I know that they see it in Banff. They've even seen it sometimes as far south as Calgary. But just the reflection of this. This is one of my bucket list things. I have not been there during the time when this takes place. Excuse me. So the Columbia Icefields Parkway is one of the 10 most scenic drives in the world. Here, as you're traveling down this roadway, it's home to over 100 glaciers, and every which way you turn as the road winds through, you see just different things with the mountains, how the sun reflects off of them, and if they're snowy topped, and just truly beautiful scenery. And when you get to the Athabasca Glacier, it's here that you can go on the Ice Explorer, and they'll take you right out onto the ancient ice. The ice here is as thick as the Eiffel Tower is tall. So you can step out onto the ice, you can take an empty water bottle with you and scoop up some of that glacier water. It's some of the purest water on the face of the planet. And just 10 minutes up the road is the Glacier Skywalk. So here you can walk on this horseshoe shape and go right out 918 feet over the Sunwapta Valley. You see that steel girder that kind of comes across the middle of it. If you have people who are really kind of skittish about this, they can just do what we call the chicken walk, and they can walk across that beam there but still get the beautiful views. It is fully handicapped accessible. They have headsets that you can put on, and you can hear all about the genealogy, the glaciology, the history of the area. But they have some great views of mountain goats from up here that you'll see them perched right on the top of the cliffs there, and you wonder how they can even stand there, but they do. As I said, this is right up the road from the Glacier Explorer, so there's one visitor center that takes you to both of these attractions. And if you want to do the two of them at once, I would tell your clients to allow 2.5 hours to get both of them in. But what beautiful unobstructed views you get from the top of the skywalk. And then we go on to Banff National Park. It's home to the Fairmont Banff Springs that you see pictured down in the right corner, and that's Banff Avenue that you look down on the left. And we also have the Banff Gondola, which is currently going through some renovations and will open up for peak season again in May of 2016. And we'll have a whole new, fresh look to it and a feel up there when you get to the top. When you do get to the top of that gondola, this is the view that you have. And so you see the Bow Valley there, you see the whole town site, as well as the Fairmont Banff Springs perched down there. But you have views of 6 different mountain ranges, and you're up 7,426 feet into the air. And down in the town of Banff, you have over 125 different restaurants. You have a lot of different shops there, as well as some hotels, condos. There's, every different type of price range for every type of client, including our Fairmont Banff Springs, the baronial castle here. It's just simply beautiful, especially in the wintertime. They have the Willow Stream Spa, and that's just one of their guest rooms there for you to see. So a lot of different excursions happening in Banff, you can do, again, some rafting here as well as you can do in Jasper. They have some sightseeing tours that can take you around. You can go and see the wildlife. The bears you can see pretty well in early morning and late in the afternoon because that's when they're feeding on the berries. You can also do the Mount Norquay sightseeing chairlift. So that takes you up pretty high, and they have a brand new experience associated with it, and that is called the Via Ferrata. So here, if you've got people who are a little more adventurous and they really want to do some mountaineering, they get all carabinered up and saddled up with all the hard hats and everything, and they can take one of these walks across. And I love when I do this and I can hear your reaction because most people are like, oh no, that's not for them. But I have to say I've done more adventurous things here than I ever thought I would in my lifetime. But it's a lot of fun, and I think that if you've got some people who can do something like this, absolutely recommend it. So again, coming back to winter, we have 3 ski hills that are all within a 45-minute distance of each other. You have Lake Louise, you have Ski Banff and Norquay, and then you have Sunshine Village. So if they're staying in Banff and they are not sure which ski hill has the best skiing that day, all the hills post their conditions in each of the hotels every morning. So the buses run up and down Banff Avenue, and they can decide which one. If they see that one hill is socked in, then they can go over to the other one. Saves them the time of having to transfer themselves back and forth. Ski Big 3 has lift tickets that you can use all 3 ski hills with the price of one lift ticket. Also, you should know that winter is low season for us. So while your skiers are going off to other destinations that are pretty pricey for ski, we are really very well priced for ski. And please note as well, the exchange rate right now is about $1.35 to our US dollar. So you can also do some cross-country skiing as well as some dog sledding. That is one of my favorite things to do. As you're going through, they just sort of take off, and you can just feel that cool, crisp snow on your face, and the dogs are so excited, and they take you out, and it's just an amazing experience. Or you can do some sledding if you want something a little milder. And then we come to Banff Springs here. This is the Cave-in Basin, and this is home to the thermal hot spring waters. It's here where Banff National Park was founded. You can't swim in those hot springs, but you can swim in the upper hot springs. And the last time I was here, it was 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So nice and toasty, especially if you've got the snow falling down on you. And I'm sure many of you have seen a shot of this. This is one of our iconic shots with the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise pictured there. And just some of the views from the guest rooms. It's one of my favorite places to go. Even in the wintertime. As you see, they even do a ice castle in that center picture there. So you can do ice skating and cross-country ski around the lake, on the lake, during this time. And as I said, Alberta is home to an abundance of wildlife. We have the bighorn sheep, we have bear and elk and moose. So there's plenty to see and do while you're there. You can also do the Lake Louise gondola experience. That's the Lodge of the 10 Peaks there. And you can take the gondola up to the top and perhaps have this fella pictured below you. This is really a haven for grizzly bear in this area. and just a couple of the grizzly with the baby bear. There we go. And Peto Lake is one of my favorite stops along the route. As you see that beautiful blue waters, you see the buses pictured in the bottom of the screen there in that little circle. You don't see any of this from the roadside, and they pull in there and they just say, okay, just walk down that path and, you'll see what you see. And everybody that I've ever brought here, no matter when they've gone, as soon as they get to that end of that path, you hear that collective gasp because it's just the most beautiful colors you've ever seen. And then a sister lake to Lake Louise is Moraine Lake. Again, the glacier waters with the rock flower and the silt that come down. It's just spectacular. So if you're trying to get your clients into Banff, and perhaps it's during one of the busy times and you're having some time trying to get hotel space, consider Canmore and Kananaskis. This area is very close to Banff, and it's about an hour from Calgary, but it's just a few minutes away from Banff National Park. And here they have a Delta Hotel. There's a couple of different smaller properties there, but it's a little more laid-back kind of a town, and a lot of people prefer to stay here and just go in to Banff and do whatever activities they want. This is sunrise over Three Sisters Mountain, which is in Canmore. And then we come to Calgary. So Calgary is home to 100-year-old sandstone buildings, and that really has an eclectic mix of people here, as well as a lot of different types of shops, boardwalks. It's a great place for foodies, and a lot of great chefs in Calgary. And then you also have Calgary Tower, so you can go up to the top of the tower. They have a revolving restaurant up there. It's a great observatory to look out over the entire city, out to the foothills and right up to the mountains. And then you can come to Canada Olympic Park. So this is the only ski hill that's located within a city. This is open year-round. This is where they built for the 1988 Olympics. And so they have the ski jump, as well as having a luge and a zip line in the summertime for activities. And you see the snowboarder there. Excuse me. And then you can also go to Heritage Park, which just celebrated 50 years in existence this year. So here it's kind of like you can go to Gasoline Alley and see where we came from with all the different type vehicles, from the horse and buggy right through to the cars of today, and all the different gasoline pumps and Gasoline Alley. The whole area is set up like an old town, and everyone there is dressed in period costumes. So you can go into the bakery, buy some baked goods, learn how to play snooker, take a little ride around in the horse and buggy there. And I'm sure you've heard of the Calgary Stampede. These are the dates for next year and the following year. It's a very popular event that happens in Alberta. Everybody, for 10 days, every July, becomes a cowboy or a cowgirl. And the whole town is decked out in everything Stampede. You've got chuck wagon races that your clients can go to. You've got the Indian Village. And there's also a midway with carnival rides and all your fried pickles and fried Oreos. And every year they come out with a different thing that's fried. So a lot of fun things to see, do, and eat while you're in Alberta at the Calgary Stampede. And then you move on to Alberta South. So you see from north to south, it really is a very different topography there. You have the rolling hills and the ranch lands. And then you come upon the Canadian Badlands. And here it's a hotbed of fossil field for dinosaur bones. Excuse me. Terribly sorry for that. We also have the Royal Tyrrell Museum, and this is where kids can come and maybe do a little mini dino dig and see all the dinosaurs. Kids are really into dinosaurs these days. You can also take them to Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. So here you'll have an Indian guide that can take you around and show you how they fed and grew their nation on everything that they used from the buffalo. This is the world's oldest and most well-preserved buffalo jump. So it's been in existence for many, many, many years. And then we have Waterton Lakes National Park. So that's the Prince of Wales Hotel that you see perched on top of that hillside. You can take a boat ride that takes you right across down to Glacier National Park, and they then turn around and they come back. But it's beautiful to be able to go in between this whole set of mountains. As you see, this is from the dining room at the Prince of Wales Hotel, and that boat ride goes right down the center. So we have some new summer and winter experiences in Alberta. And so there are tours that will leave from Calgary and take them down to the Badlands. If they don't want to drive down there on their own or they don't feel comfortable with it, they can just go on one of the tours. And we also have culinary tours, even if your clients are just 2 people or if they're 20 people and they want to do maybe a progressive dinner or do some type of a tour where they can meet the local chefs. They can arrange to do that as well and do some snow tubing maybe or go to a Calgary Flames game. There's a lot really here to see and do. This slide I put in for you because it is different people who have been in our province who have posted to our hashtag Explore Alberta. This is what we call our influencers, and they are people who just were there, enjoyed the beauty, and wanted to post on it. And we do see that people respond very well to when, and you'll probably know this yourself from Facebook and Instagram, when you know somebody who's been in the province and you see that, it just inspires you to want to go there. I always tell agents, if you're not really big into social media, if you just want to follow Travel Alberta on Facebook and then repost some of the things that are posted and just say, I can help you get there. This is something that will be able to show people that, these are real unretouched pictures. So we just launched our Alberta Specialist program, and I saw by the poll that many of you are interested in becoming an Alberta Specialist, and I do hope each one of you signs on. It's really a fun, interactive online program, and you can do it from either an iPad or an iPhone or a tablet, a computer, anything you can connect with, you can do it on. So we've made sure that it fits each format. So you can go to traveltrade.travelalberta.com in the lower right-hand corner you see there. And then you can sign on at the Alberta Specialist program. So by becoming an Alberta Specialist, you get education credits, as well as you can be invited to some exclusive events when we have them in your areas. There's also going to be some incentive programs, some sales leads that come from our office in Calgary will be redirected to you because we know that you are the specialist and we know that you'll be able to close the sale. And we also will have some FAM opportunities. So who doesn't love a FAM opportunity? We'd love to get you there and to show you everything that there is to see and do. We also have some videos, and our videos are the Remember to Breathe video and the Remember to Breathe There Is. So I encourage you to go on YouTube and check those out. If you show videos in your office, it's great to have that as an inspiration to people to see that. They're 3-minute videos, and they're very powerful. We've won many awards for destination videos for that. So I want to thank you for joining me, and just let you know that if your clients are looking for that Canadian Rockies experience, whether it's something that they want to do in addition to a cruise from Vancouver, and then they want to do a land package, or if it's a rail experience and they want to do an add-on to do a land tour, Alberta does provide those goosebump moments, and I can tell you honestly that it will leave them wanting to return for more, and they will come back and they will ask you for more, and they'll go out and help sell it for you to their friends and bring you more clients. So my contact information is there. Please know that we're here to help you with anything that you need, and I hope that you'll contact us, Sell Alberta, and become our specialist. So at this point, I will turn it back over to Sandy and see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Cheryl. Those pictures are absolutely spectacular. I mean, I did get goosebumps looking at those photos. It's just stunning. So thank you so much for sharing those pictures with us and for all of the information. We do have a few questions. One of our agents wants to know if global warming is affecting all the glaciers that you showed pictures of.
Yeah, they are looking at the Athabasca Glacier, and they have seen some receding of it. I don't know. They from what I have heard, it's going to be there for a long enough time, but I don't really know what exactly the melt away is on a yearly basis. But yes, there has been some receding.
Okay, well, we'll hope for the best that they stick around as long as, at least as long as they've been there.
Right.
One of our agents was curious about the question you asked about whether or not they belong to any consortia. Are there special considerations for consortia members, or why did you ask that question?
Well, I asked it basically because Alberta belongs to a few consortias. We are part of Virtuoso, we're part of Ensemble, a part of Signature, and a part of Travel Leaders. So I go to various different conferences, and so I like to know if the agents that I'm talking to will also be there, because that helps us to further build our relationships with the agents and be there to help them through anything they may need.
Okay, excellent. Are there tour operators that have vacation packages to Alberta?
Absolutely. We have many of our partners. We have Tauk Tours, Colette, A&K, Globus Vacations, Sells Alberta. There's G Adventures, Discover Holidays. I'm trying to think of, God, there's such a long list. And of course, GoGo Worldwide Vacations, Travel Impressions, Classic Vacations, Pleasant Holidays. So the list kind of goes on and on. There are quite a few tour operators that do sell us.
Okay, wonderful. One of our agents wants to know about the trains that you mentioned. Are they non-smoking, or is there a non-smoking car or two if people don't want to be around cigarette smoke?
They're all non-smoking.
Excellent. That's
No
great.
smoking.
Is the Glacier Skywalk open year-round?
The Glacier Skywalk is not open year-round. The Skywalk and the Athabasca Glacier both close for the winter season. So right now they're both closed, and they'll reopen towards the end of May.
Okay, excellent. How far is Alberta from Vancouver for clients who are getting on or off ships in Vancouver?
Well, it's a pretty quick flight. It's an hour flight. If they want to do it by train, it is an overnight. And because with Rocky Mountaineer, they get off the train in Kamloops and then board the train again the next morning. Whereas with Via, as I said, you're going through the night, so it is, but it is an overnight train. So drive time, I would say, I'm not 100%, but I would say it's probably more like 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, so people are better off flying. One of our agents
Absolutely.
wants you to repeat where was the area where you said you could buy ski lift tickets that were good at three different ski mountains?
It's Ski Big 3 is the operator for all the three ski lifts, but you can do that in various packages. So if you're booking a ski package, MLT Vacations books ski packages, ski.com also does it. All of the tour operators that sell winter for us will also sell those passes.
Okay, and
And
we
if
have
you're doing it as an FIT, then you can just go to skibig3.com, and that's where you would find it.
Okay, excellent. We have time for a couple of more questions. I wanted to remind our agents that if we don't get to your question or if you think of something after this webinar, Cheryl has her contact information up on this slide, and I'm sure she would love for you to get in touch with her with your remaining questions. One of our agents wants to know if you could repeat when are the best months for seeing the aurora borealis and where is the best place to see it.
You can actually see it starting in April each year, and it runs, I'm sorry, from September each year through April. So it's the winter months that it's best seen. But again, Mother Nature takes its own course. So you can see it basically from Edmonton, Jasper, because those are both the northernmost areas that people go to, and then down to Banff and Lake Louise. And sometimes you can see it in Calgary.
Okay, and our last question is one of our agents has been taking the Alberta Specialist course and wants to know if additional courses will be offered soon.
Yes, right now we've got the Alberta Specialist 1, and once that is completed, very shortly, we're just finishing up the last of the Specialist 2 portion of it, and so that will be coming on within the next few weeks. So once you're done with that, you will get a notice from us that the next module is available to take, and then we'll send that along as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So now, as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, Cheryl has generously provided a $50 gift card. And here's how we're going to work the giveaway. Cheryl is going to ask you a question about something that she talked about during her presentation. And the first correct answer I see come across my screen will be the winner. So I'll let you know when we have a winner, and the winner's name and email address will be provided to Cheryl so that she can get in touch with you about the gift card. So Cheryl, whenever you're ready.
Okay. I hope you were paying attention. It's a two-parter of a question. So in what month is the Calgary Stampede, and for how many days? And the drum roll begins.
Okay,
So
and we already have an answer, a winner.
oh, wow.
Yeah, we have several people who are paying attention, but the first one I saw come across my screen, first of all, the Calgary Stampede is held in July each year for 10 days. And the first person to answer it correctly is Dave Mazur, or Mazur. So
Oh,
congratulations to Dave, I will be providing your email address to Cheryl, and she'll get in touch with you about the gift card. This has really been wonderful. Cheryl, I appreciate it so much. I know we all got a lot out of it. Our guest today has been Cheryl Kasbrisky, Business Development Director in the USA. Cheryl, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, and thank everybody who joined. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to listen to Alberta, and please do feel free to call on me with anything that I can do to be of help.
Thank you. And I also want to thank all of our agents who are on the call today. We really appreciate your time, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.